Welcome back everyone, Mudford here. We're tearing into Jeremiah's Yamaha Raptor 250 engine. So he broke down during the race, and when he would pull his clutch lever in, nothing would happen. I assumed it was some kind of a mechanical thing with some of the linkages or something, but you can see he has a damaged clutch here. We're gonna pull it apart and see how bad. I knew he was having some problems. He wasn't downshifting correctly, and he was lugging it real hard in too high of a gear and then pulling in his clutch a little and popping it in and out, trying to get it to go. I was trying to teach him that he needs to downshift, but he was having trouble getting it downshifted. He says, I don't know, but it looks like he ruined his clutch. So we're gonna go ahead and get this tore apart now, and we'll see how bad the damage is. Hopefully we'll get a look at here and see what the damage is. And hopefully we can, ooh, yeah, we got some broken clutches here. So I knew he was being pretty hard on it the way he was driving. We're gonna have to have another talk about how to properly shift. So you can see right there, there's a piece of a clutch disc. A piece just fell on the floor. Yeah, we got a few broken ones. There's pieces of it in here. There's a bolt that goes in right here. This is it. And it holds this clutch actuator in. Or I don't know what you call it, if it's an actuator, but your cable is up here and it turns it and it moves the clutch rod. So I'm trying to take this out to inspect it and get my clutch rod out. So I pulled the bolt out. I'm not having any luck getting this clutch shaft here out. It'll move up just a hair. I don't know if it's something with the clutch rod that's holding it. I can't get the clutch rod to come out either. So I'm really getting stumped here. All I had to do was just tip the quad up a little bit more. I'll show you how much more. I got it on the chain fall here. A little sketchy. Hope it doesn't fall off the buckets. But the clutch rod is coming out. Whoop, there it is. Wow, it's broken, I think. I think it's supposed to have another knurled end on it. We'll see, but that's definitely a problem. Hopefully we can get the other part out now. So it's tomorrow night. I'm back working on the clutch on the Raptor 250. I found out I took a little bit too much apart. I didn't need to take all this off. And see, this is a new clutch hub. You can see the old one is not real good. Those discs aren't going to move. They're not going to slide very good on there. So I bought a brand new one. And stupidly was trying to hold it with a screwdriver while I tightened the nut. And you can see what happened. you don't want to try to hold it with these because you can see how long and skinnier they are, and it's aluminum, just not real strong. Not a good idea to put any side force on them. So I learned from this, and I ended up costing me because I had to order a new one from Rocky Mountain and rush ship it to get it here in time. But now I have the correct tool to hold it, so I'm going to use this clutch tool to hold it. Thanks for letting me borrow this, Corey. So hopefully we have a little better luck with the new one. So I've got that washer on there. There we go. Now I need to put my new washer. Here it is. I've got a new washer that goes here under the nut. You can see it's got tabs that fit in the grooves on here, and then it's made to fold. So we'll go ahead and tighten the nut up, and then we will get a screwdriver under there and fold that tab up to effectively lock the nut. So I've got the tool holding the hub on, and I've got the nut started. I'm just going to tighten this up and then try to get the nut turned so that that folded spot in the tab is lined up with one of the sides of the nut. Not quite sure the proper way to get that tab to fold over. I just started out with a small screwdriver and got it behind there. Kept switching to a bigger screwdriver, and then in the end I used a pry bar, and I did get it to fold up pretty good, so that nut shouldn't be able to back off now. Here's my Hinson clutch discs. They're soaking in oil. You can see there's one with blue on the end of it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. The friction material is wider on it than those ones, but I think it's actually not as thick. Not sure. It says that one is to be all the way to the outside against the pressure plate. So we've got our discs here. I'm just going to get them all cleaned up here. So I'm just going to put a disc on. And a steel plate until I get them all on. So that's all for the clutch. Now we got to put the pressure plate back on. I have to make sure I have all the parts. There should be a ball already in there. I'm going to just double check. So the spring on the left here is the new Hinson spring. This is the spring I had with the last cheap clutch I got. You can see that it's a little bit stronger spring. Hopefully this clutch lasts longer, especially considering it cost 4 times as much also. So I'm going to go ahead and get this pressure plate on now. think I'm gonna have to do a little bit of adjusting here. So we're gonna need our 10mm to loosen this. We're gonna push the rod in a little bit so that it's gonna give us more travel. Got it set just a little bit loose right now. Okay, here's my travel now. Hopefully that's enough. I'm not sure what the problem is, but I've added a second oil cooler on. Seems to be running kind of hot still, and I don't know if my oil pump is weak, but I figured might as well throw a fresh oil pump on while we got it apart. So I got my side cover all cleaned out and a fresh gasket on. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and then change out. I haven't changed out my oil filter yet. We'll do that right now too. It's all back together and we're ready to add some Earls to it. So what we're using today is the AMSOIL synthetic dirt motorcycle oil. It is 4 wet clutches, and I've heard this is supposed to be the best. It's a little expensive at $12 a quart, but as hard as my boy is on stuff, if it helps make the engine last longer or the clutch last longer, it'll definitely be worth the extra money. Okay, it's in neutral. Choke's on. I'm gonna go ahead and try to start it and see what happens. Okay, I just took it for a short ride and the clutch is working perfect. We do have a starter problem. Looks like I'm gonna have to buy another starter for it. The starter sounds like garbage. I thought maybe it was the starter clutch, and it did seem kind of sketchy when I tore it apart, but there's definitely a problem with the starter. The quad seems to run perfect. The clutch is good now, so hopefully he does all right this race. The only thing I'm concerned about is the starter, but I'll show you how. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the clutch in, pop it into gear, so it's not in neutral anymore. You can see the neutral light. I'm gonna go ahead and let the clutch out a little bit. She rolls right forward. So the new clutch works really good. Seems like it's adjusted pretty good. So we're gonna go with that. I think he's ready to race in a couple days. So hopefully he does well.